What's up, Dice Crew? Now we got Maino speaking on that night where everything just went left, pertaining to Taxstone, Troy Ave, Banga, RP to Banga, and shout out to those that care about Banga, and also shout out to everybody else that was affected that day. But we got Maino speaking on that situation. He pretty much got some say tough things to say. Ain't no telling, but let's tune in to see what all Maino got to say. I'm going to keep it a Benji for y'all doing the reaction. Y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. Let's rock.
No, look, I've said this plenty of times, but I'll say it again because you're here in front of me. Taxstone was my friend, still is my friend.
Right.
We talked.
Right.
In fact, I believe his last interview was with me right before he got picked up, just by total chance. But he had been out a year, so we were all thinking that nothing's going to happen. I never talked to him about the case or anything else like that. I remember when it happened, I called him. I said, "You good?" He said, "I'm good." I said, "That's it. I don't want to have any more conversations about this. Because I don't know who's listening on these phones or whatever else." Because he had some people snitch on him that he was like hanging with, and it was all fucked up.
Right.
But I will say this, and I've always said it, Troy Ave was the aggressor in this situation.
Right.
And I've dealt with this bullshit aggressive energy with him. At one point, he threatened me over a text message because I wouldn't play his music. Troy had this chip on his shoulder because people wouldn't put him on when he was coming up, that once he got a little bit of buzz, it's like, oh, I'm going to get back on everyone who didn't support me. Like, to all the artists who are listening to this right now, no one's going to see your vision.
I definitely was tuned in with Troy Ave. I want to say that's back in like maybe 2015, 14 or something around that time frame. And I liked his whole style. Like, he was pretty much giving that vibe of New York. I definitely was rocking with that. And then, he just kind of started, changing what he stood for and what he was representing. And I kind of just veered away.
Right.
As you're coming up. So if you do get a level of traction, don't take it out on the people who didn't see your vision. It's your vision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you weren't hot enough for someone to fuck with you, now you are, be glad you're hot enough for someone to fuck with you when you are on.
Indeed.
There's lots of people who didn't fuck with me when I was starting off who now want to fuck with me because I've raised my, my level to the point where it makes sense commercially to fuck with other people.
I had a person tell me that in reality, right, a long time ago. But what Vlad is saying is definitely some good advice that you can pick up, right? Because people don't always recognize what you are going, like where you going with your vision, what kind of they just don't recognize what you got going on at certain moments. But then tomorrow, they might definitely start recognizing what you are and who you are and what you have accomplished. So it's up to you to, hey, I done built myself up to where it makes sense now. So now I am going to do business with them. Or you can choose to make the approach and make it like, like pretty much burn the bridge or take it more personal, I should say. Every time somebody don't want to engage with you or support you or, do business with you, it don't have to always be because a person is hating on you. Sometimes it just don't make sense for their platform or just in business. So you have to weigh out what's business and what's personal. Now, if you're going to be that type of person to like, hey, they weren't messing with me when I was at the bottom, now I'm on the top, and you want to go that route and kind of be on your high horse, that's cool too. But you just have to make sure that you don't never, ever, ever, ever got to try to come across that bridge again that you burnt. Because they might not throw no lifeline.
Yeah. But Troy always had this dumbass chip on his shoulder, and you saw it, how he was using Banger to beat up I Love McConan, to beat up this other blogger at one point. And he walked into it as the aggressor in that situation. You were there. And I heard the story, but you were there to see it. And I always said this. If this happened in Florida, it'd be a stand your ground. Everyone's free. And I remember me and Tony A were talking about this, and it's like, if Taxstone just had a knife instead of a gun, because a gun does not work for every situation. In fact, it's the worst thing to do in most situations. If he had just had a knife, or if he just knuckled up,
But if he would have had nothing, and then they would have got what they were looking for, which in my opinion was a world star moment, bragging rights. I get it. I understand. You see a nigga that you got to issue it. You want to address it. I get that. But don't cry about it later. You know what you was on.
Yeah. I mean, he's in jail right now.
Right, but you know what you was on.
Yeah, I know exactly what he was on. Me and Troy are never going to be cool.
No, it's not.
And I'm fine with that.
Right, but I'm saying don't.
It's kind of crazy how, like, Vlad is not trying to let Maino explain what he's trying to say. But I agree with what Maino was saying. Like, whatever type of time we are on, we have to be held accountable and take full responsibility on that type of, on what type of time we was on. If we own that, we own that. And then when we act like we on that type of time, things don't always work in your favor. You might get some situations and it be unfair, but you have to be, taking responsibility for what kind of type of time frame you was on. Because if you was maybe on a different type of time frame, then you wouldn't have to be subject to an outcome or some results that you definitely are not in favor of pertaining to yourself.
Play victim later. That's all I'm saying. Like, what you was on, you understand the situation, and you understand that your friend died because of you, because of your actions.
Exactly. And it killed me. It killed me when I found out what Taxstone got, because me and him had been talking the whole time. Me and his lawyer were talking. Taxstone wanted to do an interview as his trial was starting, and I said, I'm not going to do it. I said, I don't want to be the reason why you get convicted. You can go to someone else, and you can hate me if you want after this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to be the reason why, because this will be used in court. You know what I'm saying? So I go to someone else if you want to do it, because he wanted to get his story out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, not right now. And, I hope that he gets an appeal. I hope he gets out, because had that not happened to Taxstone, he'd be like Gillian Wallow right now. He'd be at that level.
Right.
He'd be a Nori right now. You know what I'm saying? Because he was well on his way to be that. He had just interviewed Meek Mill.
Right.
People were fucking with him. Like, he was like the voice of...
Right. And he was very early in the whole genre.
Yeah, man. And that's my friend, man. And it still fucks me up to this day. And I hope he gets out early, because the amount of time he got was crazy.
Indeed.
Did you and Tax have a relationship?
Yeah, we speak. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Were you friends before that happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Speak.
It's bad.
Call me from time to time.
Yep.